Hey, Shalom family. Have you ever been in a relationship, right? And you come to a point when you come to some type of obstacle that you can't get past. It's like having a knot. If you ever had a knot tied in something, a shoestring or some kind of thread or something, and you're trying to maneuver, and then you come to this knot, so you spend time trying to untangle this knot, to smooth it out so that you can keep going. But sometimes you are unable to do it, and you end up you get frustrated because it can be very frustrating. If it's a loose knot, you just quickly do it. But if it's a tight knot, it gets frustrating, and a lot of times you decide to just cut it and move on. And a lot of times that happens in relationships. You get so frustrated at this point, either one person or both people become unwilling to untie this knot, right? So either one or both people decide that they get, they're frustrated. They don't want to go through what it takes to try to deal with the intricacies of untangling this here knot. So you end up, cutting that relationship or moving on. And so that happens a lot. And we do the same thing when it comes to our relationship with the Most High, or our progress in our spiritual growth with the Most High. When we come to some type of knot, we come to some type of entanglement, and we become unwilling to deal with it. There's a lot of different manifestations of wickedness, or of evil, or of sin. There's a lot of different manifestations of unrighteousness and injustice. There's lots of different fruit of it. We can name a million things, but they all really kind of come back down to only a few roots, right? A lot of things can be rooted in fear. A lot of things can be rooted in greed. A lot of things can be rooted in pride. So when you really dig in and think about it, most things that we deal with in life go back down to just a couple of roots. We can really argue that it may all come down to just one root, when you deal with pride, because that's the one thing that the Most High says that I resist the prideful. I resist the proud, and I give grace to the humble. And pride comes before a fall. No one can stand in pride before the Most High. You have to come humbly. So a lot of things come down to us not wanting to. Even when you look at fear, we look at insecurity, we look at a lot of different things. It comes down to a not wanting to humble ourselves to something. So a lot of times, so it's these roots that are keeping us from the Most High. These things that we're rooted in, or that's rooted in us, in our being, in our hearts, in our minds, that it has become a knot. It may be a lack of understanding. It may be there's something that happened that has kept us from progressing to the next point in our spiritual walk with the Most High, and it's keeping us from the kingdom. So there's some kind of area that has gotten tangled, and we walked away from it. Whether it's a misunderstanding. I know a lot of people who have lost relatives and have been angry with the Most High ever since. Just never went forward with the Most High because they don't understand why they lost this relative. Or there's people who, there's some of us, sometimes we experience things that cause us to question or doubt the Most High, knowing that He's there, knowing that the Creator is real, knowing that His word is real, knowing, that there's something beyond us. But we come to some kind of experience in life that ties a knot for us, and we've walked away from it. And even if you've been one that has pursued, you may go to church, or you may read your Bible, or you may even give thanks or praise to the Most High, but you put a wall up to where you're not going any further in the pursuit of His kingdom and the pursuit of His ways, and allowing Him into a personal space within your heart to really deal with what's going on, because it's a sensitive issue. It's something sensitive there. There's some kind of root. There's some kind of knot. There's some kind of area that you're staying a distance. You're not willing to deal with. So we all have had that one root. When I talked about in my video Spirit Unlocked, we've all had that one major thing, that if we have come to the Most High and surrendered and been redeemed in Him, that we had to break that one major root, that major wall that we've had to be able to enter in, to begin our walk in the kingdom. So there's some who have not yet broken that, but then there are some who have, gone through that initial stage, but you come into road bumps along the way, and entanglements that can cause you to look back or to not progress forward, to stay and settle somewhere where it's not the place that the Most High has told you to settle. He's told you to go, but you settled somewhere comfortable because you've reached a point that you don't want to untangle. You reached the area that you don't want to touch. And we have to all realize and know for ourselves, what are we entangled? Do we have some kind of root of pride, of insecurity, of fear, of hurt? Is there something that is keeping us? Is there some type of greed in us? Is there some type of lust? Is there some type of attachment? What is it in us? Some type of misunderstanding? Do we have a view of the Most High that we don't understand? We have to be willing to wrestle and look at that area and take it to the Most High and wrestle through it with Him. Submit it to Him, to say, hey, listen, nothing should be keeping us from the kingdom. The kingdom is at hand. The kingdom is not, the full manifestation of the kingdom is coming in the future, but the kingdom is at hand now. The kingdom has been at hand. Over these last 2,000 years almost, the kingdom has been at hand for us to take hold of it. The will of the Father is to be being worked out and established in the people who call on Him and in the earth right now. It's not just a matter of, okay, dying. A lot of people think about dying. Okay, when I die, I'm gonna go to hell, or if I'm gonna go to heaven. That's the issue. Is are you going to enter the kingdom? Because the kingdom is coming. The kingdom is being established on the earth. Yah is going to establish his righteous kingdom amongst His people who submit to Him on the earth. Will you be one of those that are in His kingdom? And if you are one who calls on or believes in the Most High, have you taken hold? Are you in that process now of advancing His kingdom in you and through you, and so that it's being manifested on the earth? Like we have a work to do. We have a calling. Many are called, but few are chosen, because few actually come into actually surrender and submit themselves to the walk, to the way. So nothing should be keeping you from the kingdom. So sometimes we got to come to these points where if it's something that we desire, we know how to work things out when we come to a stuck point in things that we want, right? If you come to a stuck point in your career, what do we do? You go back to school, you get your master's degree, or you get your bachelor's degree, or you go get a certificate. If you come to a stuck point, you're trying to buy a house. Okay, well, what do I have to do to increase my credit? What do I have to do to create more income so that I can get my down payment? We know how to achieve these worldly things, and we know that when there's an obstacle, we look at it as something we have to take steps towards, overcoming, so that we can get what we need for our livelihood. So we know how to overcome with things that are important to our day-to-day life, not understanding that all of that is in vain. It's all vanity if we're not working towards the kingdom of Yah. Everything that we build that is not built on Him is going to crumble. So why put the energy and focus into these things that are going to crumble, and not put the same energy into, okay, what is keeping me for real? Like all jokes aside, hands down, we could have blamed the church, blamed crooked people, blamed, whatever, the systems of this world. We can blame all kinds of things, but at the end of the day, what is it that is keeping me? What is it that is keeping me from being able to hear the voice of Yah and respond in obedience? What is it that I walked with Him at one time, but now I'm walking my own way, and I know it in the back of my mind that I need to get on this course. I know that I have a level of belief, but I'm staying at a distance. What is it that I need to do today, right now, to unfold this? To the house is crumbling. Everything is crumbling around. If you're not aware of what's going on in the world, I don't know what to say. But this whole thing is crumbling, and the end of the world is the beginning of the full manifestation of the kingdom of Yah on this earth. You know, so the world ain't just going away. The righteous are going to inherit this earth in righteousness and in justice. You know, it's going to go forth. We're going to see what we all have longed for. You know, what the righteous, with those who have a seed of righteousness in them, have longed for. What we think is impossible to see and achieve on this earth, as far as righteousness is concerned, and justice and love. You know, we're going to finally see and live and experience that freedom, that joy, that shalom, that peace. We're going to finally see that established on the earth if you are in the kingdom, if you are redeemed by him in his kingdom. So what is worth living a life of hell on the earth and experiencing all the pain, all of the, you know, unrighteousness, all the injustice, and just being a victim of it, but not being on the force of those who are fighting for it to be undone? You know, why become a victim? Why be a victim of this system and this society? Why be a victim because of something inside yourself that refuses to come into alignment to seek and to know the Most High? Like, the enemy of your soul is keeping you preoccupied in whatever that root is, that pride, that whatever has become a complacency, you know, that fear, that unknown. Sometimes we become, we don't want to even ask questions because of that insecurity and that fear. Like, we don't know, and we don't want to be seen as not knowing, and we don't want to, you know, look to anybody to get any knowing. We don't want to really truly seek the Most High to get that understanding. So we just kind of stay with whatever reasoning that we have come to within ourselves, and we become content with that, even if it's false. It's our falseness, right? Even if it's you know, we know that it's not real, even when we know it comes out of a place of hurt, even when we know sometimes we've made decisions as a child and we're still holding on to that reasoning that we had when we were a teenager. We came to some conclusions when we were a teenager, and we're still living based on that now, you know, and haven't re-examined that understanding. You know, we're going on a reasoning that somebody else has given us years ago, that our grandmother and them said, you know, and we have never re-examined it, you know. So we have to submit ourselves and humble ourselves, you know, and take hold of the kingdom, because it's at hand now. So take a moment to reflect. You know, we have to take a moment to reflect so that we can go to the next step. For those who are not on the path, and for those who are on the path and have come to a stuck point. You know, the denominations have, all the different denominations, right? They have come into existence because of the spiritual leader who came to a different truth, or came to more understanding, and left where they were going, but then they stopped right there. They didn't continue to open themselves up to understanding. So they realized that where they were was not completely accurate. So they moved on from that and settled in more truth. But then they stopped right there and stopped taking in any more. You know, they stopped progressing. You know, so that's why you have so many denominations. It's like they realize one thing, but then they settle right there and build a whole religion around that one new thought that they had, or revelation that they had. You know, so we don't want to be like that. When we set up shop somewhere short of the goal. You know, we build a house somewhere short of the destination. You know, that's like you set out, you're in Maryland, and you set out to go to California, and then but you stop in Tennessee, you know, and you just set up shop there. You know, and that wasn't your goal. You know, but you got comfortable there and never made it to your destination. Like, we have to regroup. You know, sometimes you got to regroup. Sometimes you need to take a break. Sometimes you got to take a breath. You know, sometimes life knocks you over to the left or to the right. It happens, you know, but we got to pick ourselves back up. We got to realize this was not the destination. This is not the goal. This is not the place of settling. Let me gather myself and let me keep going. You know, let me pick up and keep going, you know. So I just want to encourage you today to pick back up and continue to move forward in your spiritual journey. You know, come back from the detours. A lot of our people done detoured, right? with all types of spiritualism, all these different types of things that give us answers quicker than the Most High was giving us an answer, because the Most High a lot of times will stop with if we don't progress. The Most High will be sitting at the last place where we obeyed and where we listened. So we're waiting. We've gone on, but the Most High is like, come on back to right here, because this is what I want you to deal with. This is what I need you to untangle. So we don't. So because we don't untangle it, we stop hearing from the Most High. We stop, getting answers. Things stop making sense. Things start getting confusing. So then we go off so that we can hear, so that we can continue to hear something. And now we end up in different forms of witchery, trying to hear and trying to feel and trying to experience and trying to progress. We start chasing success. We're listening to psychics. We're listening to, we need to know what our horoscope is saying. We need to know what anything is doing to move us forward or to give us insight and direction, because we're not getting it from the Most High, because the Most High is like, come here to this part part right here that you don't want me in is where I need to be, so that I can be your king, so that nothing else is an idol, so that I can get to, and lead you and guide you and be the center of you, and no other wicked force leading you and guiding you. I need you to let me into this place right here, and that's the place where we don't want to deal with. So we don't came up with all kinds of other reasonings and other ideas and things. So, but we have to come back to that place, all of us. I'm not no different. I wrestle with things in my life where I've had to overcome and to come back to truth. This life is a wrestling. It's a constant wrestling. We strive with the Most High. We wrestle with him, we strive with him, and then we overcome with him. That is his people, Yisrael. So we are overcomers. So even though we wrestle through different things and we falter and we may stray, but we rise up, we overcome. You may fall, but you rise back up, right? So we can't allow shame. That's another thing is shame. We allow shame, and which goes back to pride. We allow shame, which goes back to pride, to keep us from moving forward. We shame ourselves, we condemn ourselves, and it's a lie of the enemy, so we have to keep moving forward. We have to rise back up and keep moving forward, and I praise and thank the Most High, for continuing to encourage us, to keep us moving forward. I thank him for encouraging me and moving me forward and not allowing me to be stuck in place to place. We wrestle and then we move forward. We keep moving on this journey, because he's with us. He gives us his spirit. That's why your spirit has to be unlocked. He gives us his spirit to have counsel and power, to have love and truth, to have what we need, to have vision and sight, to be able to move forward and to continue in this journey when it gets difficult, when it gets hard, when we get discouraged, when we get confused. He gives us what is necessary for us to keep moving forward, right? So I give praise to the Most High, that he continues to establish his truth in me, in you, that he will free us until we are free indeed. Completely free, until we are free indeed. A freedom that we haven't known, a freedom that we long for, a freedom that he created us for. He created us to be free. So don't give up on your freedom. Take hold of the kingdom. Don't miss the kingdom, because you don't want to untie a knot. Allow the Most High in to move you to the next point, because we got somewhere to go. We got somewhere to go, and we got to go together, because one of us holds up the whole, because we need all of us. I need you. I'm looking for where are you? Where's my tribe? I need you and you need me, and we need each other, because we all have a piece. We all carry a piece of his glory. We all carry a piece of the Most High. So when the pieces are scattered and broken, what do you have? But when the pieces come together, and when the dry bones come together, his spirit is speaks to the dry bones as they come together and start moving, then his spirit ministers to it and speaks to it, and it starts to come together to life. It starts to have meats on the bones. It starts to have what it needs for sustenance, and then it moves together what is a mighty army. So we Us wounded soldiers, every wounded soldier, it's time to patch up. It's time to patch up. It's time to start moving so that the spirit can be poured out, so that we collectively can see the kingdom. Because we don't see the kingdom just individually. We start to see the kingdom individually, but we won't see the manifestation of it until we come together, until we collectively, because me staying in a broken place doesn't just affect me. It affects you. It affects every person. So you, as insignificant as you may feel, or you may feel invaluable, however you feel about yourself, you are significant to the kingdom. That's why it's so wicked for us to stay in our broken places, to stay in, not untie that knot. That's why it's so prideful, because we affect the whole. Because you have a piece that I need. You have a piece that the person next to you needs. We each hold a key to the kingdom. So we don't have, it's not a choice. It's not a choice that just affects us. That's why the Most High will judge, because it doesn't just affect one person. So we have no choice. We don't have a choice as people of Yah to stay stuck, to stay stagnant. Woe to those who are complacent in Zion. We have to come out of our comfortable places until we are all free, until we all have broken our chains, until we all can see the light of the kingdom and gain understanding and see what the family of Yah looks like. So family, don't let anything keep you from the kingdom. Untie your knots. Ask the questions you need to ask. Cry the tears you need to cry. Pray the prayers you need to pray. Do what's necessary. Read what you need to read. Talk to who you need to talk to. Whatever the case may be, don't miss the kingdom. The kingdom is at hand now. Be healed, be strengthened, be encouraged, be established in His truth, be rooted, be risen in Him. Hallelujah.